Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Today, I was having a look through the missions we have to do, right? And I noticed that we have a contract for landing on Minmus, which is what you'd expect, because in the last episode we had to go and do our orbit of Minmus, right? But then it got me thinking, I've only ever landed on the moon in an unmanned capacity, as far as I recall. And I feel like, the landing part of these missions, it's something I really have to get a lot of practice with, given that ultimately my goal is to get boots on Elu. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I'm planning to do today is actually do a bit of a double bill. So we're going to be landing Kerbals on the moon, and we are going to be landing Kerbals on Minmus. Not necessarily all in the same mission, but the plan is to design a rocket that can perform both specifications, essentially. So I've got a bit of a plan ready for today. We're going to start with a lander can here. So this is one of the new upgrades I'm just after getting. I grabbed it off screen because I realized I had a bit of science left over, and I've been going on about how badly I want these. So this is just downright cool, if I'm being realistic here. So I definitely want to integrate this, as well as the fact that I really want to bring all 4 of these Kerbals on missions quite like this. So here's the tricky part, though. These guys here only have levels from doing their orbits around Kerbin, right? So what we need to do is, as far as I'm aware, the way the Kerbal Space Program's leveling system is it only takes the experience points of the most recent kind of success and puts them towards your level. So what that means is, whilst Jeb could then go ahead and land on the moon and have that counted as a separate experience to his flyby, Bill wouldn't. So we might actually have to do just some test flights as well, just to make sure that we're getting all these guys leveled up effectively. So the plan is kind of God, when I describe it like that, it's like this is going to be a 4-mission special. So it's going to be everyone has to fly by the moon, fly by Minmus, and then we're going to have missions where they go and land and return. So yeah, wow, okay, we got a lot to do then. We got a lot to do. 4 episodes worth of content that I'm cramming into one because I'm very excited about this project. And I want it to be really congruent, if you get me. I want it to all go together. Now, the tricky part for me is figuring out how I'm going to want to ferry these people into space. Like the hitchhiker storage container would be fine, but it is 2.5 tons for 4 Kerbals. So is that bad? Is it that bad? How does the cupola do? How many people does this? Okay, that can hold 1. That can hold 1. Wait, this can only hold 1, and it's enormous. Oh, that's not very efficient at all. The lander can here is probably the most efficient way to carry people up, but the command pod here is already streamlined, and it comes with a bit of extra monopropellant, so and it does have integrated RCS thrusters, actually, which is quite nice. You can see these little vents here allow it to have a little bit more fine control over the way the rocket itself flies. So you know what? I think that's probably not the worst idea. There have certainly been worse ways to ferry large numbers of Kerbals into space. That just means we're going to need really, really strong engines. So I'm probably going to be using the skipper for a majority of my heavy lifting here once we're up in space. That sounds nice anyway, because its ISP isn't awful. It's no poodle, but I'll get to that in a second. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to grab this guy. Whoops, wrong button. We're going to scroll wheel this up here. Then I'm going to need to figure out what I want to do. So the objective of this mission is literally just to, perform these flybys. So in terms of the science we'll be taking, I'm probably going to leave it, to be fair, if I'm being totally honest with you. It's not that essential. I might just slap on the Mark 25 parachute. Hang on, that's the drogue chute. I kind of want an actual parachute. Drogues are lovely and all, so I probably will stick 2 of these guys on here, just in the interest of, surviving said re-entry. But we got to make sure that we're actually, landing as well. So, thankfully, the first 2 locations we're going to be landing on, we'll probably just be able to have ourselves a powered landing, which is kind of what you'd normally expect. And we'll be using a Poodle engine for that, sure. And then getting back as well could probably all be done in the 1 tank. So, For that purpose, I'm going to take a Rockomax. What was that? 16? Yeah, 216. Yeah, okay, 16. Lovely job. I want to quickly make sure these parachutes stay separated. I want the drogues to always fire before the main body of the parachute there. Lovely job. I'm going to need a ladder for when these guys get out. But I'm also going to try out the new legs I recently picked up. So, where are the legs first? Yeah, these big landing struts here. Oh no, there's some heavy-duty landing. Okay, give me 4 of these chunky guys right here. I'm going to get the poodle as well. This nice small frame. Tell you what, I'm going to translate this up as well. Just to, there we go. Just to make sure we play it extra safe, essentially. Now, as for these legs, they're fine. They're going to be tucked in where they are. I'm going to start these retracted, though. Deploy shielded. Don't really... I still don't know what deploying shielded does. It's like clicking this button doesn't change anything. But why not deploy shielded? Fine. Well, let's see what that does. Let's see how badly that ruins our mission. And then this is basically just going to be our landing and takeoff stage. So if we have a quick look at the Delta V settings for the vacuum here, I need to probably take the rocket out of my final parachute stage. Okay, that'll absolutely be enough to get off of any particular astral body and get out again. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some utilities, including a ladder. Wrong kind of rotation. There we go. So right, that ladder will readily hit the ground, won't it? Let's just start extended just so we can see here. And I might have to make a jump for it, like they'll live. Start retracted, that's fine. And we're going to retract the ladder here. We're going to quickly... Whoops, wrong button. We're going to quickly go into the action group. Where's my ship? We're going to quickly go into the action group, and we are going to go and bind to that ladder. So, custom 1 here, there we go. And we're going to toggle the ladder with 1. Lovely. As for the crew, do I want to take up some extra people? Maybe it wouldn't be the worst idea. Actually, you know, it'd be fun, because, I'll go to the astronaut complex quickly, see if there's anyone here I want to recruit. I feel like I can always do with extra scientists. Alright, Graffert. Welcome aboard. Lost? 0 missing. Well, good. I'm glad that we have a nice little throughput like that. Now we're going to put Valentine up there on the top because she is the pilot. And then we're going to keep these scientists here in this main pod. Just to make things easier for everyone. Okay, so with that taken care of, what else do we need to do? That feels like it's a nice self-contained pod. I'm going to have a quick glance over here, though, just to make sure. Landing lights never hurts. Not essential, though. That's it. I could probably put some nice directional lighting underneath these guys here. Grab 4 of these. Yeah, that's cute. No, I'll shift these up. I'll move these kind of just there. Lovely. And we can move these down over them then. That should be fine. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So we've got lights, and then we've got legs to go with the lights so we can actually see where we're landing. Wonderful little touch. Don't need anything else in that regard. We'll be able to get down. Okay, lovely. So then the real complicated bit will be... what will the complicated bit be? Nothing here really is too complicated, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. I can't think of anything that would be a big problem. It'd be nice to have some extra reaction wheels, that's for sure. So I might... Yeah. Actually, you know what? Given that we already have RCS enabled, I might just go ahead and add some extra RCS so we can be monopropellant stabilized. Just to mix things up a little bit. Well, that means, like, you know, potentially we could dock if so inclined. But no, we're not going to make this a docking vessel. It's literally just an orbital craft. So where is the RCS fuel? Right. These lovely monopropellant tanks, super aerodynamic and everything. Okay. Oh, I've got to keep our center of gravity nice and low as well. So, yeah, that'll do. That is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. And then let's just check the let us check the dry mass of this ship here. So if we were all out of fuel and oxidizer, what would our craft weigh? Just curious, because I want to know in terms of using RCS engines to try and like keep us alive. I'll slap on the center of mass overlay here. Okay. So having some thrusters here would be nice, but that's a bit inconvenient, so I might just line this up here instead. Wow, everything is getting streamlined along this because I just don't want to interfere with the ladder. I find that a little funny, to be fair. Okay, that'll do. What else am I looking for here? Parachute issues. Those aren't real issues as far as I'm aware. Yeah, there's a parachute in the same stage, so you're good. Electric charge required, but not generated. Batteries it is. I will be bringing some small batteries and a little bit of solar power, just to make life easier here, so... that's a big battery. Give me a small battery. Give me 4 small batteries. Lovely. And then in terms of our... oh, goodness, why are you clipping like that? In terms of the solar panels we'll be bringing, it'll be these guys here. I'm going to turn off that little overlay there for a second. Lovely, so... Goodness, I don't know why it's clipping through that. That's very strange. Normally it wouldn't behave like that, but... Sure, you can't win them all. Okay, so that's well set there. I should probably position these last, actually, given they are meant to go over the kind of like the center lines of your mass. That's how they're designed, but it is what it is. Any other issues in the craft? Consumer not receiving liquid fuel. Really? Oh my goodness. So you're not receiving liquid fuel because you're up a little too high? Is that it? So we're not receiving liquid fuel at all. Wow, okay, that's a little weird. Are you done now? Okay, cannot transmit science. Why is this not receiving liquid fuel? Ah, because there's no fuel here. Right, okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, and then I can shift this back up. Okay, I was wondering why that was. I was like, that mistake isn't meant to happen. You are meant to be able to clip things into the ship. That's how this game was designed. Cannot transmit science. Not a huge issue. But if there's something particularly spicy we want to bring back, we might as well. Actually, no, there's not going to be anything. It's just going to be flights, parachute issues, and cannot transit science. All right, so that's fine. So this stage is well set. We're going to give that a quick save there, so I don't lose everything. We're just all crashed now. And we are going to go ahead and find ourselves some decoupling. Give me the big guy here. Yeah, there we go. It's 25. Okay, that's good. That looks like that's a nice like master pod. I'm loving it. Okay, go ahead and give me another poodle here just in case, because I'm a big fan of these poodle engines. And then having like a maneuver section is always really good. I'm gonna offset you again. Make sure you just kind of sneak into the rocket there. Actually, how high can you go? Realistically. Because that's not causing an issue at all, is it? Or does it cause an issue? Like, does that cause the actual tank to overheat? I feel like it might cause the tank to overheat, so I'm gonna keep you a little bit low, but otherwise fine. Yeah, and you know what? I could probably do the same thing here. Is that like a similar level of lowness? Nah. Well, probably better to pop it in there just in case. We'll see. We'll do our test flights though, so we will see how this works out. Like this is not the final version of the craft. Let me just set up another layer of coupling then, and then here we're going to have a big fuel tank, and we're going to start using a principle called, I suppose. I was trying to find the right verb there. We're going to use a principle called using liquid fuel. We're going to use liquid fuel boosters. It's not really a principle. Will, what are you talking about? Okay, we're going to use a liquid fuel booster. Where is this engine? What stage are these things in? Crikey. Okay, move you. Right, so this decouples, then we use this engine. Okay, cool. We're going to start using liquid fuel boosters, because I have been looking at numbers stuff, and it is more efficient to actually bring liquid fuel boosters than it is to attach our glorious solid fuel boosters. So we will actually be using some of those on the ascent. Now, we also get to use my hydraulic detachment manifolds, which excites me very much. So I'll be popping these guys here, I suppose. And then we'll be getting ourselves some tanks here to attach. Lovely. So these will come away now with essentially no issues. And we need to attach some nice engines to these as well. I'm thinking of going with Reliance just because they are a little bit stronger. That said, I'm not going to completely forego the smaller engines. Or not the smaller, the solid fuel engines. That said, I do want to see, do I have a fuel duct? Because if I don't have a fuel duct... Yeah, I actually don't have a fuel duct, so guys, it looks like I'm not going to be able to use liquid fuel boosters. That's fine, I wanted to use solid fuel boosters anyway. But once we get the opportunity to build more complex rockets, we will be kind of like upgrading, essentially, to only 4. Ah, come on, now we can bring more than that. Is this too many? The logical mind might say, yes, absolutely, what are you doing? But I'd like to advise you that the logical mind isn't actually here right now. And we can go and build big fun rockets without the logical mind interrupting all our fun. Now, do I want to save these rockets at all? Not really. So I'm just going to like pop some nice aerodynamic nose cones on them and hope good things happen. Yeah. So I'm going to be relying on these boosters for quite some time up until I get the opportunity to launch our main skipper class engine. There we go. So the Mark 18 is not looking too bad. Solid fuel boosters. I'm going to introduce a new stage here. I don't know what the auto staging on this rocket is awful. Maybe I'm just building it in a stupid order. Probably doesn't help. Alright, so these fire, these detach. I'm going to swap the stage around here. So these fire. This detaches. This fires. That detaches. Oh, okay. So, without any further ado, ladies and gents, we can get this saved up. And we can... Oh, no, actually, there's a little bit more to do. Sorry. Actions. I want to have these lights deploy automatically. Yeah. We're going to have you toggle the lights here. Just by, not the lights, the solar panels. There we go. Just by pressing 2 instead. So that just makes my life a tiny bit easier. Okay, everything else shall work as intended. I am like 30% sure. And that is enough assuredness to launch people into space. That is the confidence threshold you need to meet in order to be comfortable sending people to their prospective dooms. Oh, it's nice to have a good... Oh my goodness, we are going very fast already. It's nice to have a very good pilot, because that means we can kind of track prograde and retrograde automatically, which is very, very satisfying. What a lovely column. This rocket's remarkably stable. It is very heavy. It is very top-heavy, I will admit. But I don't think I'm going to be holding that against it too much. Now we're going to turn it a little bit earlier than I normally would, so we can start... Yeah. So we can start actually getting a bit more... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hang on there, fella. You're going a bit topsy-turvy. Uh-oh. Okay, so we may have discovered that... Yeah, this rocket might be a little top-heavy. Hadn't really considered it. It is spinning for some reason. I'm not doing that. Maybe I should have given it wings. But I suppose we can't all be winners, can we? We gotta just deal with the hands we're dealt. Detaching these is going to be a little problematic, but... Okay. Those come away no problem. And wow, okay, that's actually almost flawless. That's a lot of explosions, but they no longer concern me. Uh-oh. I'm very much beginning to feel like this is a top-heavy rocket. I'm thinking I'm gonna have him just basically burn towards a retrograde, and then try and make adjustments from there. Okay, how about that? Oh, is that putting us on an orbital trajectory? No, it's still not. Don't know why it would start giving me the orbital velocity when it is in fact not an orbital velocity we're getting. That's fine though. Okay, as you can see here, like, we are firing at that kind of like classic 45-degree angle. Our orbit was going to look a little weird, I think, but we've taken care of the worst of it. God, I am very grateful for the gimbling effect on this engine here. Yeah, we are going to need to do some serious adjustment. Unless we're going to want to go for a minimus first. But I suppose this is just an orbital flight. This is purely an orbital flight. No more, no less. And I don't think we should pretend that it's going to be any more than just an orbital flight. Next time around, I might patch some good old-fashioned fins onto the first stage, just so we go up, we ascend a lot more easily, more linearly. I don't think I'd have a problem with that. Okay. Yeah, so we're just starting to extend our apoapsis a little early now. Just trying to get ourselves a nice arc, and hopefully kind of do a bit of a orbital correction now before it's too late. The apoapsis keeps going up though, which is nice. And we're gonna go and have ourselves a nice little arc very shortly. Ah, good. Yeah, most of the delta V here will be spent on just getting us into orbit, so that's totally fine. We need about, yeah, these numbers are fine for getting to and back from any place, really. Any place that we could want to get back to. So Minimus is out there as marked by that station I put up, and the moon is just very close by, which is handy. I can probably save the rest of that fuel for maneuvers the apoapsis itself. Let's get out there and see how do. Okay, well, we're already there. That was fast. We're going to bring that apoapsis up in front of us just a little bit here and see if we can adjust our orbit slightly. Adjusting it at the apoapsis also feels like an easier thing to do than trying to adjust it somewhere else. Ideally, we would be adjusting it at like nodes of ascension and descension, but nobody's perfect. So go with the saying. And we are getting a periapsis here now, so you know this will be a nice little test. We're gonna quickly run around, do a little orbit, because we want to not just only to test this craft, but also to give one of the members aboard. What was her name again? Graffert. Yeah, give Graffert a little bit of experience. So we are going to now actually exit this orbit and come back down. As I say, guys, it's going to be a multi-part episode, so we're going to be doing multiple launches. This was primarily just a test launch, so we got into orbit, but it's a wonky-ass orbit. So I'm going to be adding fins to the Mark 18, just to make sure that our ascent is a bit more structured. Alright, this periapsis is fine, realistically. We're going to be a little bit of a ways away from the actual space station when we land, but that is going to be fine. That's something we can deal with. Just need to keep our tail pointed down there as well as we can. And once we start hitting... we'll see how we do burning out atmospherically, because aerobraking is going to be tough, and maybe using the last bit of my engine just to slow us down is what we're going to have to end up doing. So we'll see how we do in terms of a controlled descent. I am going to see if I can actually pick a landing site back at the Space Center there. But I'm promising nothing, given that we're kind of off kilter a bit. It's very, very handy that the space station is actually aligned for a gravity turn. It's perfectly equatorial. But yeah, we're gonna have to see how we do. I want to try and practice getting specific landing sites. So if I end up landing anywhere near here, I'll have done the right thing. But this remains to be seen, because we are still very much just coming in from orbit, so it's going to take a little while. Do I want to change my mind and maybe land out here? Yeah, I'm thinking it. The sooner the better. So as we slow down, this arrow will actually come forward a bit, so landing here is probably what I'm looking at. That, or... because I'm probably going to try and see if we can land ourselves here on these plains. So just before these mountains here. And I'm going to lose a little bit of distance due to a good bit of... Wait, what the heck is that? There's something down there. Due to a good bit of atmospheric drag that we'll hopefully be experiencing. That said, this is very much a suicide burn. And, God, I'll be amazed if we actually make this. If I'm being totally honest with you. Goodness me. How is this vessel still standing? Well, we've got drogue chutes for a reason, I suppose. Yeah, well, I hate to say it, but that actually kind of worked. Maybe not as intended, but it certainly worked. Brakes? No, I want... Ah, there's no more landing gear. Interesting. Interesting development. The landing gear is just gone. But... oh, goodness me. Ah, that was the, So we landed pretty hard on our solar panels, but the entire crew did technically survive, so I see this as an absolute win. That is a lot of junk we've now just scattered all over there. That was... kind of good. I'm happy with where we landed, but maybe should have been a little more careful in how we landed it. Okay, advanced level 1. Lovely. So next time, we're now gonna quickly modify that craft and see if we can grab a moon flyby. When I say modify this craft, I need to put some freaking fins on it. I think these thin ones will be adequate. Okay, I'm gonna take off that snap rotation there just for a second. Just to make life a little bit easier when it comes to placing these fins. You guys understand what radial means, right? These fins apparently do not understand the meaning of radial. God, they're not very good at it, are they? Ah, well, sure. We'll see how do. Honestly, I just want to keep us nice and stable as we head up. And then once we're in space, we can fool around. Once we're under the power of just the skipper engine. Go ahead, Buck. Let's see how do. Yeah, I thought there was... oh, there's a gear action group. Right. It's just not working at the moment. Or it wasn't working then because our gears had exploded. Good to know. So yes, the objective is to keep ourselves on the steady throughout our descent, our ascent rather. Oh yeah, okay, that's a lot more fine control here on account of the wings being very good. You can see the way they're twisting there. Let's see if we can... yeah. This turning here is going to allow us to kind of lean into our gravity turn a little bit more easily. Oh, a little bit of buckling there, that's fine. Nothing we haven't dealt with before. Now, here's what I'm really hoping for, and I hope you'll understand why. I'm really hoping that these rockets detach as nicely as they did the time before. Because they detached incredibly nicely. They fell away, it was very, very good. Okay. How did this come away? Okay, I thought some might get caught in the wings. But, we're still going strong. Okay. Okay. We've leveled off, we're good, we're good. Little bit of difficulty encountered. Nothing too terrible. And we can start now leaning into our turn a little bit more. So hopefully we'll get ourselves a nice ascension there. How are we doing? I'd say we should get this apoapsis up to 100,000, and then we can probably just cut the engines and wait until we kind of drift up to get where we need to go. Taking this much gentler angle as well away from the station, primarily because of the fact that I think it's more efficient to just start going with gravity sooner rather than later. As in, like, it's easier to just use the pull of gravity on your ship back down as the planet's actually rotating against you to get into orbit a little more easily. But please do correct me if I'm wrong. Whilst I am an astrophysicist, I am not a rocket scientist. Something that I can imagine people would readily get conflated. Okay, but as you can see, the fins definitely led to a much more smooth ascent. Let's see if I can fix my heading here, though, because I do want to burn at 90 degrees where possible. Also, the drogue chutes actually worked wonders. They were pretty great. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Burn nice and parallel to the actual surface of the planet. Very good. Maybe rotate it just a little bit again. Okay, good. Good. All these things are rotated. That's fine. We're coming a little bit off target there, but we can correct for that, no problem. I'm going to bring our arc a little bit back up so we can catch up with the apoapsis, so we can make sure that as much delta V as possible is being spent, you know, doing the right thing, basically. Okay. We're going to have ourselves a nice orbit here at 105,000, hopefully. Around that. If it jumps up to 106k, that's going to be fine. No sweat off my back anyway, but it's probably not going to go over 105.5, realistically, like, because we're going to see our periapsis popping up very shortly, and it will grow quite well. I'm confident. Hang on there, buckaroo. We're almost up here, and we're going to have a nice solid orbit just purely off of the fact that our first engine was able to carry us here all by itself, more or less, like including the solid fuel boosters doing a good bit of the job. Okay, and we've gone ahead and flipped things around. Okay, up to 107. It's not ideal, but also, you know, these moon missions aren't too demanding. Tell you what, I could probably, I'll just spend another 50 or so delta V, just changing the size of the orbit. Yeah, we can get out to 200 there, so, you know, we might as well do something similar. Bring the other side up to 200 as well. That'll be good. Sometimes I forget how peaceful this music can be. Gonna have Jeb do a bit of piloting for us here. He's gonna bring us around to the prograde. Oh, look, a little autosave popped up. That's nice. And once we're stable, I'm going to go ahead and switch us back to stability assistance. And we can have our control back. Gonna rotate this quickly, just so I have my nice comfortable frame of reference. And I'm going to start burning again, just to try and bring up the periapsis. So bringing that up a little bit wouldn't be too bad at all. Once they're even, then we can kind of just split the remainder of the fuel. I'm using all this fuel here, by the way, because it'll just mean that I have to spend less fuel in a higher stage without detaching these guys prematurely. Like I could just detach them prematurely, and that wouldn't really be too much of an issue. But in the interest of like conserving fuel, I'm not really going to be doing that. So I'm going to jump ahead of you a little bit and catch up. Okay, we're about. So, you know what, we'll check the maneuver eccentricity. Yeah, we're not doing phenomenal, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. But we're getting close. There we go. We're starting to get a lot closer now. One day it might even be passable. So 207, still 213. Okay, only 6 kilometers off now, and we flipped it. Not by much though, not by much. You know what I will do? I will float around here, and I will detach the stage, because losing 200 delta V is never great, but it's also, you know, not the worst thing that's ever happened. And now we can just go ahead and we can add a maneuver here, and we can go and do a flyby the moon. That's all we're after. It's just a flyby at this point in time. We're gonna get a flyby menace as well, but we can't all do it in the one flight, because otherwise Kerbal Space we're gonna be like, no, they didn't get the relevant experience, and that's problematic. Is there a less expensive flyby? Hello, that's one. That is one strange encounter, but I mean, if it works, I'm gonna go ahead and quick save there. We're gonna line ourselves up with the target tracking there. Lovely job. And you know, it's probably better if we warp to the node. A burn time of 1 minute 15 seconds. Oh, no. Go away. Out of there. Get out of that now. You know what? This button is how we warp to the node. I was like trying to figure it out. I was like, is it this button? Nah, that might just, I don't know, start firing my engines. I've been playing a good bit more of this game, and I just keep forgetting what everything does. Oh. Should probably do another stream of this again soon. once I get the free time to do so, because that'd be nice. So I'm gonna start burning. Yeah, about now feels right. Because you want to burn about 50%. Ideally, you do all of your delta V transition in like instantaneously. But because you're limited to actually having to fire an engine and have that process take some time, you kind of want to split your time 50-50 between the before and after of passing that node. So it averages out that you were basically exerting all of that impulse at that node. Still, they've only been in flight for like an hour, so they're probably pretty happy out. The MPL there is nice, but I think I am going to end up putting up. I am going to put up another station at some point. Something a little bit more, I won't say practical, but definitely help-oriented. I'm going to want to have a refueling station, definitely, so that I can make longer missions more easily. And I suppose, in terms of getting out to other planets, that's kind of going to be a bit instrumental, is making sure that I am well able to fly out to a place, refuel, and then continue on my merry way. And I will have to... Oh, hello. Is this what we're after here? This is indeed a moon periapsis. Lovely. Okay, and we can take our time up here then. And then, I'm just after realizing that actually puts us on a crash course with Kerbal. Interesting. What did we do? Excusez-moi. Alright, well, it would appear that we just straight up didn't have our moon encounter. But here we go, having one now. Oh, it was like predicting it a couple cycles off. Fair enough. That's actually quite handy. Okay, and we're going to be leaving the moon's sphere of influence now. I'll see if I can take a crew report. Yeah, no, we've already been here. That's fine. Lights on. I feel like I have more lights than that, guys. There we go. Nice big lights there. Lovely job. Hi, Mr. Moon. Okay, and we're going to speed up here then. And now, this may be an interesting position that we find ourselves in, but we're basically going to have to burn purely at the retrograde just to stop ourselves from absolutely hurtling into the surface of Kerbal, which is fine. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And what you gotta do is prevent yourselves from being absolutely slaughtered by the fact that you have a vertical speed of like 1,000 meters per second. Minus 1,000 meters per second. We are dropping altitude with ridiculous speed. Actually, for this I'm gonna use my, I never did deploy those solar panels, did I? Well, there goes my ladder anyway. Might as well put out the solar panels now just to give us a bit of a helping hand. And I'm just gonna start burning. Turn off the RCS there for a second. But it's not that necessary. It's gonna be as close to a vertical landing as I've ever done. Provided I survive, of course. Really couldn't tell you if I am going to or not, but I may live in hope. Like, I'm doing my best. I am trying to burn against the fact that I'm just falling into orbit. But I don't know how much that'll count for at the end of the day. So, go ahead, little engine. Do what you gotta do. Wow, okay, the difference between these pieces now is already so extreme. Also, after realizing that deploying my, after deploying my solar panels, I am currently on the dark side of the planet, so it will do absolutely nothing for me. I might just leave them out as like some kind of small aero brake. That's brilliant, right guys? I'm gonna do the same for my landing legs. Because that feels like a stand-up thing to do. We're all gonna die, aren't we? Well, the answer is maybe. Wow, we're very zoomed out for some reason. Still, the fact we're alive at this point is always a good time. Can't decelerate any further now, but that's fine. Once we actually break the 70,000 kind of atmospheric barrier, we will actually be able to speed things up by a factor of 4, but I'm not sure how eager I am to do that, given the fact that it may very much just result in my death. Let's hope that a little bit of air resistance will be able to catch the rest of us. That would certainly be a nice time. I'm just aware of the fact that the ISP on this engine, basically its efficiency, is, God, this freaking ladder just sticking out. The ISP of this particular engine gets worse and worse the deeper you are in atmosphere. So it's like it's not very good at sea level at all, because there's like, but upstairs, I was going to say, in vacuum, it's totally fine. Okay, so if I slap the RCS back on, I just focus on making sure that we're using all of this monopropellant to decelerate. Yeah, well, oh, we can actually deploy the drogues now. That's always a good sign. Maybe I shouldn't have deployed the drogues so soon. I'm beginning to think this was an issue. Oh, no. Things are actually working out. Ah, the drogues deployed safely. Very good. Okay, we're gonna keep firing these engines as quickly as possible. I can't believe we're actually coming in safely. I suppose safely is a relative term. Safely enough from what was really such an aggressive descent. I'm quite sure the parachutes are going to take care of themselves now here. I'm going to quickly bop that altitude up a bit. Just to see what else we can do in terms of slowing ourselves down. Yeah, okay, so that grabs it as well, and it all evens out. How are we doing for monopropellant, actually? I feel like... Wow, I felt like I was using a lot of it, but apparently we are quite good. Alright, I'm going to turn that off now because it's a bit of an annoying sound. But yeah, okay, that actually went surprisingly well. Yeah, we're still going to have a landing velocity that's arguably quite high. But if it's going to be into the ocean, it should be grand. Okay, are we good to go? Very good. Those legs came right off, did they? Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, they just completely broke off. Good to know, good to know. So do not land too fast. is what is my takeaway anyway. Really, the legs. I suppose maybe that was just to do with the fact it was a water-based landing. Right. Okay. Well, they're all ready for the next assignment, so and that evidently worked quite effectively. So wait a minute, why is there two of you? Ah, you're the most recently launched. Okay. So we're going to go up in you again, and we're going to do our flyby of Mitmus, and everyone will be well educated. Well educated enough for a proper landing, that is. Yeah. So, just immediately recover the vessel. Let's go ahead and start our ascent. Imagine that. You get back after being in space for a good while, coming through a pretty rough landing, I'll be honest. I'm just like, yep, same day, we're just going to strap you up. It's the same day delivery, basically, of just Kerbals to their completely voluntary fate, I think is a good way to describe it. Okay, I'm going to start turning now, because we do have the wings. We have the ability to do so. Using the actual rotation of the planet with us will ultimately save energy, and is the right call to make. It sure would be nice if I could see the ground behind me, but all I can see is like this plume of superheated smoke. I suppose we can hope for the little things, you know. Okay, so I gotta make sure this detach. Right, those all detach relatively flawlessly. Yeah, the ones on top there do cause a bit of an issue, but it's nothing to be too worried about. The wings definitely help stabilize everything. Okay, okay. Gotta rotate you back here. Make sure you're on the right kind of axis. You guys have to remember that we are actually going to be doing a an angular burn as well, so we have to kind of align ourselves correctly with Minmus as well, because Minmus is kind of like off kilter, if you get me. So we'll have to see how we establish our orbit first, because we are going to be just basically aligning our orbit with the equator, because that is most efficient. That is how you do a gravity turn. And then from that point, we'll be adjusting our orbit to match Minmus's, so we can go and get ourselves a nice bit of a window of opportunity there. Okay, how are we doing for apoapsis? We're not terribly well lined up along the equator, but I suppose it's something we're gonna just deal with. You know what? I might just keep going here. I've got a lot of fuel left, and it really doesn't matter how I use the fuel in this first stage, as long as I get fully into orbit with it. So honestly, it's probably fine just to keep doing this. Because as I was mentioning there the other day, like, you know, the farthest arc you will ever get is at a 45-degree angle in vacuum. So if we just like keep ourselves at a 45-degree trajectory here, this will just be the farthest theoretical arc. There will have to be a point though when we, like, you know, care more about the actual completeness of this loop than we do actually about the farthest trajectory we can reach, because there actually is a difference. Like, so this farthest point here will never be up here, which is kind of where we need it to be if we're going to have an isocentric orbit. Still, I will take a free bit of maneuverability any day of the week. All right, 241. That's acceptable. Pop a quick save there as well, just in case I don't know, warp over this point or something, or just generally screw up. But that's looking like it's not going to happen too much. Alright. Let's keep you on the 90 here. Good. Nice, and we're very high over the surface of the planet now, which is nice. But because of that as well, our impact on the apoapsis should be a bit more acute. Yeah, there we go. Leaning into it a little bit never hurts. Trying to get as close to that apoapsis as possible will definitely allow me to... will definitely give me like what I'm looking for in terms of a nice periapsis, so doing as much maneuvering here as I can is the right call. Yeah, I've got a periapsis coming out here now. It's very, very good. 41 more meters, and almost in a centric orbit. It's not perfect. I'll be the first to admit it. But still, not bad. Like, the further this is out, the less actual... Hello. Are we actually gonna manage this? It just goes to demonstrate how big of a force multiplier that having a nice high apoapsis can really be, in terms of bringing up your periapsis really quickly. Wow, we have 10 meters per second left of delta V, and yet we're going to potentially get this orbit nice and eccentric just with what we have here. That's a little crazy, actually. It's not going to be like, you know... Oh, how's the eccentricity? My goodness! That's sublime! You know what? I'll take it. I will run with that. Okay. Did you ever just get pleasantly surprised mid-flight? That's exactly what I've just had happen. Okay, so we're going to set you as a target. And then we are going to go ahead and find a nice... let's go descending node. Actually, no, let's go ascending node because it's closer. So we need to go ahead and get this node to 0, or as close to 0 as possible. And how much delta V will that take? Take about 207. Okay. Yeah, and it's gonna be a little bit of an awkward one, but that's ultimately fine. Okay, look, that'll do. I'm gonna attach this stage now just to make my life a little bit easier. And I might actually redraw this node just so that the game knows that I'm using a different engine now. So please give me the correct time. Whoops. I'm gonna use a little shortcut someone else taught me back there. Lovely job. Like, doing the streams is so good, because it'll teach me so much. Where has my maneuver node gone? Okay, get rid of this fella as well. I want to set Minimus as my target, if you don't mind. There we go. Our sending node pops back up here, 6 degrees. Add maneuver. We want to change that to 0, if at all possible, so that we are not experiencing any kind of variance here at all whatsoever. Oh, come back to me, you. Approach info from Minimus. No, that's fine. Maneuver mode. No, let me manipulate the maneuver node. Okay. Pop you back up a little bit. Goodness me, that's... Okay, we're going to bump down the scale a lot there. Because that is a much bigger change than I'm actually asking for. I'm going to bring it up a little bit, just to get back into the right general picture of things. Okay, and then we're going to slow it down. Because I want this ascending node to actually, yeah, reduce. There we go. 5.4. How about now? 4.6. I didn't actually pull the thing. That's fine. 3.5. As you can see, it's going to be changing the position of the periapsis and the apoapsis a little bit, but a small price to pay for salvation. A little bit more expensive in Delta V to do maneuvers from any point of the ring, but sure. You gotta live a little sometimes. Okay, and that's... You know what, for my purposes, that's actually fine. So now that I've defined that node there, I'm going to quickly align with the target here. Stabilize you a little bit, and then we're gonna stay on target. In 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay, cool. Just do the burn. Be perfectly valid. Okie dokie. Yeah, this is gonna be fine. Getting out to Minimus won't be an issue. What I'm a touch worried about is making sure the landing goes off without a hitch, and then doing the recovery well. Like, that matters to me. Okay, we're getting close now, so we're gonna start burning at 11 seconds. There we go. Okie dokie. Nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. Any bit of rock in here can be problematic. So I'm trying to do a little bit of correction, given that the target ball moves. Or this target, the blue target that I'm trying to aim for, will move around. Okay, and now what I need to do a little bit on the manual side of things actually is just ever so gently nudge up this ascending node here. And in doing this, I will be putting myself in a bit of a better position to make a nice cozy intercept. There we go. Okay, a little bit of a extra powerful oof there at the last second, but otherwise fine. And then, yeah, we're definitely going to have plenty of Delta V to actually start our maneuver. Oh, hello. I appear to have made a Minimus encounter. Very good, very good. Can we draw that end a bit? We can indeed. We have a separate descending node at that point, so our orbit will be a little weird. Wait, what? No, it's the moon. I'm a fool. I didn't want that. Yeah, it's so interesting, like, the fact that the Delta V difference between the moon and, between Minimus is so, relatively speaking, insignificant. Right, this is going to take up pretty much all the rest of the, whoops, I accidentally modified something I shouldn't have. That was the radial vector, by the way. So that's just to do with how weird your it's basically to do with how weird your actual orbit is. I say weird. There actually is a proper use to it, but I'm just not interested in it. Okay. We're probably going to spend a little bit more Delta V out here, right? And this does give us Minimus periapsis. Sure, it appears to be the only thing it does, so we might as well run with it. Alright, warp me to the node, so we'll make ourselves a nice maneuver here. It won't be an issue. Getting our flyby... the primary reason for doing this right now is just to skill up our Kerbals a bit, so that when we do additional manned missions that we have, like, the personnel available to kind of do things right, I suppose. Okie dokie. So we're going to start burning at, what is it, 37 seconds? Lovely. So I'm going to speed things up a little bit because I'm a touch impatient. As is like almost a trademark of this. I need to be on target before I actually start doing anything. Alright, okay. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So 37, is it 37? Yeah, I can do math right. Lovely, okay, so we're just going to fire this off here now. And it will be a non-issue for us. It's going to be a case of aligning our current periapsis, I suppose, with the projected one here. And then once we're at that point, pretty much the rest of the delta V will go just into forcing the apoapsis up and out. So that's how we'll get our encounter. We'll go away with this moon encounter. Wait, are you saying that after I come back from Minmus, I'd get a moon encounter? Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Still, we're firing away at full thrust. Full throttle, that's the word. It's written right there. Written right down here. Yep, full throttle right there. So that's fine. We're at full throttle. We kind of just have to wait for this burn. It's nothing spectacularly exciting, but hey, you know, it is what it is, and we're going to get to Minmus. We're going to do our flyby. And after that, we are actually going to go ahead and do our landings. So all this has been preliminary stuff to make sure that our Kerbals can level up. Please tell me there's Kerbals in the rest of the ship. Oh my god, if there's not. I hate my life a little bit sometimes, guys. Hate it a little bit. Not too much. Just a little bit, though. All those other Kerbals aren't dead, are they? Surely they're not. I wouldn't like if they were. Well, okay, those Kerbals are going to be missing out then. That's just how it is. Okay, so we are officially flown by Minmus at this point. We can now go ahead and put ourselves in the position to do a little bit of a burn here. Oh, no, slow that down for me. Well, that's certainly an interesting intercept. Well, it appears the moon has doomed us. Yeah, why not? Well, we'll run with it. We'll be fine. We do have the fuel, and it's quite a survivable entry, so we will be fine. It's actually kind of a nice orbit it's brought us back to. A little bit off kilter, but still surprisingly in line with Minmus. Yeah, actually, that's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Go ahead and bring us back into atmosphere there, if you'd be so kind. Now, if I was keen on saving a good bit of fuel there, I would have I would have not wasted said fuel, but I like to live dangerously. I can't do stage separation in here, so you know that's fine. Don't know why that suddenly launched away. I suppose it's because of the ejector. Yeah, if I hadn't had that ejector velocity up so high, I don't know if it actually would have crashed or not. Curious actually what its trajectory is. Because like, I kind of want to keep an eye on it. Where is it? Keeping an eye on this is actually kind of interesting. Because yeah, we're both gonna be headed down now. And the thing is, I have a way to stop, but this guy doesn't necessarily have a way to stop. Okay, maybe I should slow us down a little bit there. Let us, use these just a little bit. I'm gonna pop on the RCS as well to give me a little bit of additional braking. Not gonna be much, mind, but it's something. Right, okay, and this guy here is, burning up way ahead of us now because it does not have the ability to stop the same way we do. I'm wondering, is this going to be an equiferous landing? It's looking like it will be, or it'll be close. We're coming in hot, but that's like not a sin. Okay, and maybe a little bit of a sin. Maybe I should keep using the RCS there. And I might just pop out these legs. Just for a little bit more, resistance to the air there. Yeah, okay, that's looking like it'll be good. Is it going to be a water landing? It is. I wonder if I could just flip the craft and start accelerating away. Also, where did that... Okay, that thing's still way up there. How are you still flying, young man? Well, look, we'll leave him to his own devices. We're going to go ahead and deploy all of our parachutes here. And then make sure that we come in under a bit of a powered landing. Because I'm worried about... What are you doing? Why are these feet not pointed the right way? Really could not tell you. Deploy shielded. So confusing. That's fine, though. And this is above sea level, so we can, like, warp a good bit here. And I might as well just throw up throttle here. Just to... Yeah, every time it will destroy the engine. That's so curious. I think that's not really meant to happen. But it might also be due to the fact that I'm, like, clipping the engine into the fuel tank a bit, so that could be my bad. I can't believe these guys were not actually in the vessel. Like... You're not gonna get another chance. You fools. We're just gonna go right to the moon now. And you missed it. You missed your opportunity. Oh well. Oh well. That's fine. That's totally fine. It's not my fault that you're a bunch of silly eggs. Oh my god, that didn't feel right. Ooh, that's a nice angle to get a launch from. I'll start maybe doing that a bit more, just so we can get like a sense of how big these things are a little bit better. Okay. So far, so good. This is not a terribly exciting portion of the launch, to be fair. What matters is how we maneuver and how badly we get messed up maneuvering. Thankfully, with the stability assist that Jeb provides, and the fact that the command module does actually have some pretty decent reaction wheels in it, along with the fact that we have the wings stabilizing us down there, we're not going to bump into too many issues when it comes to our ascent anymore. Definitely was a problem for our very first orbit. You saw how wonky that orbit was yourself. But no, it should be grand now. Yeah, starting to come up against some air resistance here now, which isn't ideal, but it's also kind of fine, owing primarily to the fact that, you know, yeah, we can move on from there pretty readily. It's actually quite nice. It's probably our nicest ascent so far. How many of those collided? I suppose enough is the right answer. Yeah, where those things end up is well beyond me, because like they are going in wildly different directions. It's pretty cool, actually. I wish there was a way to like have like tiny cameras here that like tracked each and every object. But we can't all be winners, as they say. God, I've been saying that so much recently. My friends have been pointing it out that I've got like a bit of a catchphrase that, you know, I can't all be winners, because I suppose I've been losing so much recently. Like just in games, I suppose. You know, I say that, but my siege has improved a lot recently, I will say. The worst part is it's improved exclusively when I'm off camera. So I've like aced thrice recently, and they've pretty much all been off camera. It's pretty tragic. I agree, because like I'm good at the game, just my computer won't let me show people that I'm good at the game. You know, it's a little tragedy. And what can we really do but live with the little tragedies we have inflicted upon us by machines? Oh, that's some very Luddite philosophy right there. Okay. I might actually see if I can get myself an orbit here, like 75,000 meters. See how I can play off of that then. Just to do orbital adjustment and the like. Because we are coming for you, Moon. Or should we go for Minmus first, just to do the contract? Probably couldn't hurt. You should vote in the comments whether you want to go to the moon or Minmus first, and then we'll have a quick look at them, and I'll decide which one we're going to first. Also, I've made an enormous mistake by firing these engines list. Yeah, so let me know in the comments, Minmus or the moon. Gonna be, in the interest of full disclosure, your choice don't matter, but hey, at least you'll feel like you're participating, and if you're right, then look, you win. You're a hero. But no skipping ahead to see which one I go to and then voting. That just seems... That's against democracy, as much of a democracy as it is, given that your vote doesn't actually matter. Alright. I mean, the moon is very exciting. It's very, very close, but Minmus, on the other hand, is... Minmus, on the other hand, is all the way out there, and it's fun to get to. There's a bit of an actual, like, technical challenge to it. So I suppose it comes down to what you want personally. Like, you know, do you want the big, flashy, like, oh, look, it's literally the moon? Do you want to just go for the one place everyone else wants to go for because it's so romantic? Or do you want to go for the technically challenging place you've never landed on before? Not even in an unmanned capacity. Let me know in the comments. I don't know why this joke amused me so much. How are we for actually getting an orbit? It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's going to be a low orbit. That's what we should be expecting, to be perfectly honest, from the fact we are developing this in low orbit. Okay. Alright. Okay. Well, there we go. And lovely, we actually have an orbit. And it's a little bit non-eccentric, which isn't ideal, actually. It's actually kind of... It's not terrible. It's not terrible. Okay, guys. We're going to go for the moon. The natural progression. That way I have a reason to keep you around a little bit longer. I'll be like, hey, yeah, you know that moon I totally mentioned I'd be going to? Well, I'm going. I want to make sure this, periapsis passes around the outside of it, though, so we can, like, actually be in the right kind of rotational mindset for orbiting this correctly. Because, the craft orbiting Minmus has an asynchronous orbit, so instead of all rotating this way, like the same way all these astral bodies rotate, like, I suppose, from this perspective, they all rotate anti-clockwise, but there's a station here that rotates clockwise, which is not great. It's inefficient, because it's better to go with the rotation of the system than against it. Ultimately, it doesn't matter in the local frame of reference, but... you know, what can you do? So we're going for the moon first, by the way. Yeah, just to re-specify that, in case I forgot. Oh, hello. I do appear to have forgotten. That's fine. I'm gonna swap engines mid-flight. That's all I have to do, really. Or should I just... Yeah, I want to quickly reconstruct a new maneuver node here. Just to make sure I can grab what I need to grab here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Sorry, guys. I know that's a bit problematic, and I spent a bit of extra fuel there. I didn't spend the fuel, which is the issue. Whoops. All right, let's just get the burn going, because I have made a series of gross errors now at this point. So, what choice do I have but to actually just go ahead and you know, let's just see where this goes. Let's just see where this goes. We'll burn for a minute or so, and then see what the result of spinning our delta V is. Because I think I've honestly just goofed up these maneuver nodes pretty bad. Because all of my burn is going to be coming a little bit on the late side, so I might actually have to burn radially, which I don't love. It's very inefficient, and you should never maneuver using it. But I've made, I feel, such a substantial mistake now on our trip to the moon that, you know, it's actually probably worth it to go ahead and use radial coordinates to try and survive. Say survive. So dramatic. As long as we keep on the target, we should be fine. He says whilst deviating wildly from the target. Okie dokie. All these statuses are well and good. Can't believe I only had 2 Kerbals on that last flight, though. And it's like, it's the engineer as well, so like, I feel it matters even less. The scientists and the pilots are really the ones who care about leveling up. Engineers are a touch secondary, because their abilities are a bit more prescriptive, if you get me. Okay, that's actually fine. Cool. We can work with that. We can work with that very effectively. So we're going to warp up here now. And we're going to land on the moon. Guys, isn't this so exciting? Now, as for the science I'm going to get here, I'm just going to go ahead and plant my flag, but I'm actually not going to be doing much by the way of collecting science here, because of the fact that my plan is, for every astral body, I will have a mobile processing lab in orbit as well as on site, if that makes any sense. Okay, yeah. Jeb, please just get on dealing with that stuff. I am actually going to deploy my solar panels now as well, just to make sure that my reaction wheels do have the resources they need. Okay, lovely. And we are bringing ourselves into a nice little orbit now as well. What a strange little graphic. How the conics work is very fascinating to me. Yep, there we go. And because it is just a landing, I feel perfectly comfortable bringing my periapsis down super low. Okay, lovely. We can now go in here, separate the stage, and I can specify even further that I am fine with bringing my periapsis nice and low. Lovely, and that'll allow us to pick a nice landing site as well, hopefully. So if I warp down here... Oh, I've accidentally selected the moon itself. That's fine. If I warp here. Yeah. And then I just start burning at the retrograde. It'll just bring down my apoapsis as expected, to the point where it flips around entirely and becomes my new periapsis. So yeah, I'm going to want to land somewhere nice and bright, just so I have a better idea of where I'm landing. Interestingly enough, I've got the opportunity... Whoa, okay, in the crater it is. Fair enough. So, let's go ahead and give ourselves a nice gentle burn here. It's kind of tough because coming in a little bit hot, arguably. It's kind of problematic, but that's fine. Look, we'll get off world, and we have big legs, so it really won't be that much of an issue for us. Gonna go ahead and turn off the gimbal altogether, so that all of our engine movement is restricted exclusively to... Go ahead and speed up a little bit there, buddy. So that all of our engine movement is restricted exclusively to canceling our velocity. And I'm going to go ahead and use the RCS here as well, just to make my life a little bit easier. Lovely. So we're going to have ourselves a nice little drop here. That's fine. And slowing down using RCS is possible if I were to, you know, have more actual RCS-based facilities, but I don't. So all I can do is accept a nice, gentle deceleration for the time being, and I'll do a nice final burn there before we land. So yeah, not too much of an issue. We're actually landing on a relatively flat part of the moon, which is always a nice time. And having the RCS here actually does give us a lot more stability in terms of like how and where we're landing. We're still quite a ways off the ground by sea level, though. Yeah, we're only 150 off actually. So yeah, the game will play with you a little bit like that, but it's fine. Now what I want to do is make sure our landing velocity is a little bit on the lower side. Okay, chill out there, buddy. Okay, lovely. And we've actually landed on the moon. Our very first sojourn onto Terra Luna, I suppose. Extend the ladder here. And then hopefully we'll be able to crawl down this once it's deployed. I'm going to wait until it deploys fully before I do so. And then I'm going to go plant my flag. But we aren't going to be taking any science here because this is actually quite a nice landing spot. And I'm well interested in coming back here again with a science lab. Okay, so he's had his fun. Remove helmet. I'm going to quick save before I do that, just in case it does kill him. Unable to remove element, there is no atmosphere. Okay, awesome. Great. Ooh, I can take a surface sample. I can deploy my chute. Disarm that. EVA report. Oh, there's so much I want to do. Yeah, that's a lot of science there as well. I'm just above the moon's midlands. Yeah, I'll set up a moon base at one point, and then I'll grab so much information. I'll probably have like a small craft that I just fly around the moon to check out the different biomes, and then I'll pick up information accordingly. But I am just going to plant the flag now. Here we go. Aw, it's cute. Site name. We're gonna call this SJG Moonlander 1. Actually, no, 0018-1. That's the first time we've landed on the moon with this particular craft. I know it's a very, very formal way of designating site names, but I don't know. I like to be organized. Yeah, let's put that in the text. I like to be organized. I'll spell it with a Z so that like we really get how I don't know. Should I spell it with a Z? Nah, that feels more comfortable. I like to be organized. Yeah, and then we can just hop back to our craft. No issues whatsoever. Oh. Gotta remember that these guys have fun little controls here as well, so we can just straight up grab you here. No more science to do, and we're gonna head home. It won't be a single problem. There we go. That is retracting now. God, I love having little flags. That's actually such a lovely feature. Now what we have to do is just go vertically, and then hope that we get captured in Kerbin's. Hope that we get captured. We will get captured in Kerbin's sphere of influence, and then we can just accelerate out of that. And I'm using my RCS here now as well, just to give us a bit more of a kick off of the planet. So yeah, not too shabby altogether. I will say it's unlikely that we'll be able to perform a powered landing, however. So, gonna keep that up. So, am I a fool? A little bit I am. I am a little bit of a fool. Because I have straight up decided to put myself on an escape course for the entire solar system, actually. Which isn't as good as you think it might be. If you think it's not good at all, you are correct. Flying out past the moon. Oh. See, getting close to this apoapse will take forever. Oh my god, just even the RCS firing has such an impact up this high. Poor little Kerbals must be getting tired. Can you imagine if they're just, they have to stay away for this entire mission? Oh my god, they've been on mission for 19 days. I'll just warp here then, and we'll actually see what we can do just using the, what we can do in terms of adjustment just using the RCS. That's not insignificant, like. Considering this is a teeny tiny puff little engine, and it's shaving hundreds of thousands of meters off of the this orbit here. That's a little nuts. It's not even a little nuts, that's very nuts. It's super crazy. Now I'm curious, is that actually decelerating or getting faster? I think it actually might, there might be some part of it that's actually getting a little bit faster. That's the strangest part, I think. Yeah, I feel like that number is starting to go up. Going up a little bit more at a time. Let's check our fuel here as well. Gonna pin that there for a second and see how efficient that is. Like, that is a lot of distance we are shaving off for not very much fuel at all. I know the burn time is kind of on the long side as well, by the way, which isn't ideal. But that's how it is with these really high efficiency engines, unfortunately. You know, they're very, very good in vacuum. They're primarily used to maneuver. Hang on, I'm gonna actually have a quick look here. I thought these guys said they were, the RCS was enabled here. Well, it's not doing it now, anyway, if it is. Maybe it's a case of these command pods are able to, like, fire up by themselves, if you get me. Because, like, that's absolutely what these are. These are RCS ports. But, you know, they're not really contributing to anything at the moment. Maybe it's just because they're not, like, multi-directional like these ones are. Like, so these have 4 nozzles, and only one of these nozzles is firing at any given time. Yeah, so that's probably it. But, like, guys, look at that. We're coming from an apoapsis of 65 million meters. And bringing our periapsis down from 11 million, and we're already in the 3 millions now. All of this just based off the monopropellant. Like, and we have a small amount of fuel left, which we are going to use to, like, try and stay alive a little bit and do potentially a bit of aero braking when it becomes important to do so. Ah, fascinating nonetheless, though. Really well and truly interesting. Actually, I might be wrong. I might actually be slowing down, which is almost stranger in a way. How close are we to that apoapsis? I'd say we're actually a good bit of ways now. Like, it's going to be a 30-day loop to get back here again. Honestly, we're probably just as well off burning here, because, you know, we're so high now that wherever we burn from is probably going to be the highest point in our orbit, realistically. Especially if we end up passing the craft through atmosphere. That'll just shave off so much time and space as well. By the way, if you've noticed up here on the left that these are all, like, offline, yeah, we don't have an antenna, but also there isn't a relay station that's, like, strong. What the heck? No. Moon, stop interfering. There isn't a relay station strong enough to actually interact with us further. Don't you make me crash into the moon. Actually, using the moon there to save a bit more fuel? Alright, I'm game. I can work with that. That's gonna crash me into the moon though, isn't it? Cheeky bastard. Trying to trick me into crashing into the moon. I don't want to crash into the moon. There's no periapsis there. It's literally just the moon playing tricks on me. Can't believe I was tricked by the moon of all things. Maybe I should have seen it coming. The moon is an inherently tricky creature. Alright. Alright, moon. What's your angle? I believe we've almost used all this monopropellant, actually. Like, for me loading all of it, like, still that's not gotten us into atmosphere. I suppose that's partially on me, given that I actually came down a bit from that point of control up there. Yeah, I feel like that's actually just more on me than anything. But wow, okay. Also, in fairness, I did make a takeoff mistake. I did go ahead and just, like, break orbit altogether. Okay. Go ahead and bring me in at, say, 55. And then I'll finish the rest of my burn there at the periapsis, I think. That feels like the right call. We'll see how we do. Yeah, because we've got a lot of work to do. Oh. Let's zoom in here, buddy. And this cuts our apoapsis pretty sharp. Yeah, like, that came down from quite some way. And now we are going to be doing an arrow burn. So, guys, this can take some time, and for your own convenience, I will simply cut ahead to when we're actually on our proper final descent. Okay, see you soon. Hello and welcome back. We're now on our final descent. Coming in a little bit on the hot side. Coming in a little bit fast too. But ultimately nothing we can't deal with. I will say we have a really cool profile at the moment, which is probably the most important part of rocket science in general, is making sure you look cool whilst doing it. Otherwise, what's the point? It's looking like we are going to be having ourselves another sea landing, so hopefully we'll come back from that all right. No real issues there. It did take a good while to actually pass through, maybe like 10-15 minutes, but that's just how those kind of like aero descents work from time to time. So there's nothing we can much do about that, unfortunately. It's all good, though. It is all good. Yeah, we're going to be coming in... Oh, is that both sets of panels gone? Yep. Okay. That's fine. Well, can we at least close the boxes there, or... No, that's not doable at all. That's fine. Let's see about deploying this ladder, though. Maybe this will help. I should try spinning. That's a neat trick. Oh. Maybe not neat enough. I want to try and keep ourselves retrograde if at all possible, and we're running low on electricity to do so. Because this craft is very eager to flip. And now that we don't have any solar panels, and that we are burning up the last of our electricity, I don't know if we'll be able to flip it again until we get our drogue chutes deployed. Oh, well, we might as well use it to give ourselves a bit of a tumble then, to try and cut a little bit more speed off our craft by increasing the air resistance our craft experiences. Okay, and with that, yep, that's our electricity depleted. I will say, actually, we're not completely at a loss here, because Jeb does have the ability to pilot this craft. It's simply his control of the craft that is now a touch diminished, which is not ideal. Never is, but not much that can be done at this point. I'll turn off the lights there as well. No real need. I think we can see everything fairly effectively for the time being. Okay, we are coming in now. Whilst things are hot, we're going to have our drogue chutes able to deploy very soon. And those will get us right side around again, which is very, very good. That's what we're after, actually. So no issues there. There we go. Okay, drogues are safe to deploy. This rectifies the direction of the craft and slows us down enough for our main parachute. Okay. And then we can speed up our descent. Given that we are going to be landing over water, I am looking at losing probably the bottom part of this craft, unless I'm well wrong. No, this is a land-based landing. Really? This is actually land. Huh. Well, look, I'll have to wait until day comes around, just a little bit, and see where it is I thought I was landing, because I did not think I was landing here. Actually, this is a good opportunity to see, under Kerbin's gravity, with all of our resource tanks empty and the like. What are we looking at in terms of, like, engine destruction, basically? Okay. So, is that a leg lost? No, that is the engine lost. Okay, good to know. Good to know that the engine does not like an impact. Okay, in future I'll move these legs down to make sure that we're not risking our engine at any point in time. But look, here we are. We're gonna actually have Jeb hop out here. When I say hop, I mean fall helplessly to the ground. You know what we might do? I might just take a surface sample. Oh, look, lovely dirt. We already have it, and we already have the EV airport. That's totally acceptable. Go ahead and climb back up this ladder here then and report the ship. No extra science as of yet. Oh, geez, careful there, buddy. We're going to recover the vessel. Lovely, and then we only have one more little mission to do in today's episode, and that is to make a flight out to Minmus and land there. Now, hopefully, our crew will have leveled up. Yeah, okay, good for you, Bill. Good for you, Bob. Now let's have a look at your XP here. You know what? We're actually gonna go back into the VAB and have a look. And have a look at a crew here. So, being there for planting a flag on the moon actually is more valuable than just landing on the moon. Interesting. Okay, and it completely overwrites. It completely overwrites the other experience. Interesting. Okay, so they must have changed the way that XP works in this game. Okay. Okay, that's fine. It's body related. So when we take everyone here to Minmus and we plant the flag on Minmus, when we fly back, we can plant a flag on Kerbin, then we have as much experience for all of our crew here as our what's it called? As our, I suppose, planetary system will allow us. Okay. That's great news. That's really good. Okay, cool. We can head off then. Oh, did I want to... I feel like I do want to move those legs down, just in case we encounter a small issue in Minmus. So, you know what we're going to do? We're actually going to revert to the vehicle assembly. No issues here, hopefully. And I'm going to go ahead and translate these legs down just a touch. So, where are you actually affixed? Okay, you guys are there. Just move you down a bit. That should hopefully be alright. That should hopefully be alright. I'm not saying it is alright. I'm saying it should hopefully be alright. Okay, and we're going to save the Mark 18 there. By the way, I just have all those leading zeros there to help organize future crafts. I did actually clear out the previous vessels we had made, just for organizational purposes, honestly. Oh, hello! Look at us having a lot of nice upgrades here. So we get access to the normal, anti-normal, radial, and radial out. So, no, look at you, Jeb. You're going places. And then I'm sure Bill can probably do something interesting. He can provide repair skill, he can repack parachutes, he can repair landing legs, actually, that's very handy. And he can repair failures. Alright. I'm curious to see how that works, but let's see how he does with failures. As before, ladies and gents, not too much of a special launch, but we're going to try and make sure that we're using our fuel as efficiently as possible, because as you saw there, not too long ago, just even on our last little trip there, we did find ourselves having a bit of an issue with, how do I put it? We did find ourselves having a bit of an issue with getting back, actually. We did have to rely on a bit of an aero brake, which wasn't ideal. Never is. But, you know, we should be fine this time around. I'm not going to overshoot. I'm going to play it comparatively safe, just to make sure that we're not goofing up too badly. Okay, our gravity turn is underway now, which is nice. We can detach those and just start rocketing as fast as possible. I'm going to keep it a 45-degree angle here, just to see, just so I can get my apoapsis up to 100. Okay, that's the plan. And once I've done that, then we're going to cruise up, and then hopefully we're going to be able to perform our kind of basic orbital manipulations just using this one engine. If all goes right. I feel like I cut it pretty slim with the actual size of the... I cut it slim with the amount of delta V we have to perform these maneuvers. But that's fine, because I typically don't want to use skipper engines for changing between the moon and here if I can help it. Okay, that's fine. This is at like 114 now. Okay. And then we're going to cruise up then to the level just above this here. So we're going to go maybe 30 seconds before... Oh, we're still in atmosphere, so our time warp actually does just... There we go. So now our time warp stabilizes us. And when we're, say, 30 seconds out either side, what I am going to do is I'm just going to start burning horizontally. And then let's see if this kind of like brute force method will maybe work out a little bit more to an advantage. You know, it really doesn't matter whether or not we are in the gravity turn, so much so just at this point. Given the fact that we will actually have to change that to match the ascending and descending node of Binmus, which is, it really is quite far away. But look, it shouldn't be too much of an issue at all. We are putting most of our energy into going directly parallel with the surface of the planet, which is ideally what we will be doing. So hopefully in the next 30 seconds or so, we will have access to a periapsis. If not, I am going to start correcting by bringing it back up to the 45 degree and hopefully get the apoapsis leading again. Hopefully it's alright. Hopefully it is alright. Getting a little bit far away from it for my own comfort, but how is this looking from above, actually? Because if this is looking satisfactory from above, then I'll be fine with it. Okay, the orbit is still kind of subplanetary, if you get me. It's like the orbit would be... The periapsis would be actually in the ground, which isn't ideal. But I feel like we are going to be able to bring it up shortly. Okay. Right, I'm going to actually have to arc this up a little bit then. Okay, yeah, that's not sublime if I'm being honest with you. But we're going to warp up to this point and we're going to level things out by burning on the normal. Actually, no, we're going to be burning the prograde realistically. So I'm going to set Jeb to follow that then, just to make our lives easier. Because the more work you can actually get the Kerbals to do, typically the better. So go ahead. I'm going to monitor our eccentricity as well. Lovely job. We're just bringing that down in pulses, really. Just to make life a little bit easier. Catch up to the apoapsis then. Oh, we've overshot it just a little bit. That is fine. Oh, jeez. I accidentally smacked off the button that makes it not fine. Right, back up to the apoapsis we go. Little gentle adjustments is how we're meant to do it, but sometimes my fingers hit all the buttons wrong, and I end up making that mistake. But look, it's not difficult to rectify ultimately, given that our eccentricity is also like comparatively low at this point. Okay, once we get close to this here, I'm gonna have a little bit of a good time modifying this flight path here, because I want to get this eccentricity to 0. Especially for any kind of maneuver along the ascending or descending nodes. Like, making sure your orbit is nice and circular is very important. Okay. Well, okay. One more little toot. There we go. Lovely. Then we need to select our target. And then hopefully we'll just be able to use this engine to play the ascending and descending nodes as required. Lovely. So we are rotating this way. So this is actually a better ascending node than we had the other time we... Whoops. Well, scrap this. It's actually a better ascending node than we had the other time. What did I just do? Did I... Set the Minmus as target, please. Thank you. I'm going to set a maneuver node. Lovely. So... Yeah, that node is going down. Cool. That's at -3 there. We want to get it at 0, understandably. Doing a little bit too early can be bad. Doing a little too late can be bad. Why is this being a little bit on the tricky side? Ascending node. Go ahead and add a maneuver. Let's bring down the node of ascension. That's blending in with the actual background, with the actual like grass there as well, which is a tiny bit of an issue, but nothing I can't live with. That's going to bring down the ascending node a little bit further. That's fine. We can keep doing that. Honestly, we can leave it there and we can do our own manual readjustment later. Ultimately, that's the perfectly acceptable thing to do, because we can just do that by eye almost. Okay, and this is going to be an anti-normal burn. So you know what, we might as well just put you on target now. Another little handy little feature of having access to these now is that we can do like our angular adjustments with almost automatedly in a way. So it's going to be a 13-second burn. Let's just go ahead and get in position. Warp up to it. So that means we need to burn like, I'd say 7.5 seconds either side. Not 7.5, 6.5. So it's not very much time at all, but okay. The sooner we get it done, the better. And we kind of want this... Yeah, once we're kind of content that this ascending node is adequately changed, that's good for us. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at the ascending node again here, and we can probably make our own little adjustments if we get a little bit closer to it. Because like doing maneuvers at the periapsis and apoapsis, these maneuvers are most effective if they're performed locally. Okay, lovely, and we've gotten it to 0 there. Periapsis and apoapsis, actually, let's check our eccentricity. It's still perfect, still a perfect eccentricity. That's actually so good. Okay, I'm really happy with that. That means that we can go ahead and make a maneuver from wherever we want. But actually, what I think I will do is I think I will actually spend the remainder of my delta V in this particular rocket, just going ahead and making life easy on myself. So I can spend about 75 or so. 75 delta V at this point here. But yeah, let's do that. That will be actually at the prograde here, so we might as well leave it here for the time being. I'm spending 75, by the way, because that's half of what I have remaining here, more or less. The burn time will only be 4 seconds, so that's fine. We can get a little bit closer before I go ahead and bother maneuvering. Well, Jeb will take care of it for me, because it's going to be lined up largely with the prograde. So we can push out our apoapsis a little bit further, and then we can push our periapsis out a little bit further, and that means that when we're doing our transfer between Kerbal and Minmus, that it will cost less delta V on this engine to actually get there. So that means we have more freedom about how we adjust our orbit once we've actually decided. Not decided, once we're actually captured by Minmus's orbit. So, lovely. I'm going to quickly take you back onto Stability Assist there, so I have a bit more manual control over things. I'm going to line you up with the blue dot as best as possible. Lovely. And then 2 seconds either side of it. I'm just going to burn and see if we can complete this. Alright. Absolutely grand. 78 left over. That's fine. Not the end of the world. And I'm going to go around the other side and do the same. Bring it up as much as need be. Warping here is probably going to be adequate. I might escape a little bit before then, just to make life a touch easier on myself, so I can do this kind of adjustment manually. Where am I now? Yeah. So I'm going to exit out of it there. Got 8 seconds. Not actually great. I might go around again. Just to speed things up for me. Let's go ahead. Just keep going by. Lovely, we're almost there. Okay, we'll give ourselves a bit more time now to maneuver this apoapsis here. Got a minute 40 more or less. Oh. Okay. You're on track, and I'd say when we're on the closer side of things, you know what? Let's say when we're 2 seconds out. How about I could just burn off the rest of the engine, because that'll balance out with the periapsis there. And then we'll have an apoapsis and a periapsis that are both like roughly of the same order here. Okay, lovely. So, not perfectly eccentric. That's fine. I'm going to quickly flip retrograde, actually. Oh, before I do any more of this, I'm going to make sure that I extend these solar panels here, because making sure I have enough maneuverability whilst I'm still in space is very important. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to fire off this guy here. Or actually, no, I think that's a bad idea. I think that's actually a terrible idea. I'm going to go face prograde again, because that would just mean that next time I do a maneuver, I've run the risk of actually crashing into this whole engine stage. So I'm glad that I actually thought a little bit critically there before I decided to make an action. Okay. What I will do, though, just to make sure this is all fine, is... Yeah. Oh, thank God I decoupled the right engine. I was worried there for a second. Alright, next stop, Minmus. Add maneuver. Why not put it behind us a little bit? Doesn't really matter where it goes ultimately. What we want to do is make sure that we don't have a moon intercept, because that'll be a bad time. Okay, go ahead and make sure that I'm passing around the outside of it here. That is technically a periapsis. I'll take it. I'll take it, because we are going to be landing and then we're just going to be like taken back off again. So look, that's fine by me. Oh, node in very soon o'clock. Okay, good to know. I feel like... Yeah, okay, I'll start burning and... Fire the engine, you muppet. Jeez, took a little while. I keep forgetting you can't modify stages whilst you're in that menu view. But look, hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. It's only 4 seconds on a relatively short distance burn, so we're not going to be missing a whole lot of opportunity. And we do have extra fuel left over, just to make sure that we can actually, you know, get into position, more or less. Okay. Right. Just having a gander here at all the little numbers going on down here. Sorry, I realized that I was trying to figure out things and my brain was just not operating. Orbit approach from Minmus. Interesting. So because it's only a projected approach, what do you mean our phase angle is different? I would have entirely disagreed. Does phase angle then refer to your angle out here? Because we currently are on an intercept course. Of sorts. Let's keep you on track here, lad. Okay, as you can see now, our apoapsis is really starting to balloon out, so these are those last critical moments where we have to make sure that everything goes just right. Okay. We do have a Minmus encounter. Awesome, and an associated periapsis. Just quick saving up to there to make my life a touch easier. I'm guilty of nothing but seeking a little bit of comfort for myself. Okay, and we will be warping in ahead of Minmus. We are a little bit on axis, which is nice. Never hurts anyway. I'll tell you what, let's warp to here. I'm gonna let the game take over here because I feel like I would overshoot it. Oh, I'm curious about where this is. Is this actually gonna put us behind Minmus? I think it might do. Not the ideal orbit I was hoping for, but still, we can work with it. How far away are we from this periapsis here? Oh, not too bad. I'll warp here, I think, and then do my maneuvers. Okay, burning at this retrograde here now is going to hopefully bring us in around Minmus, which is what we want, because then we can go down a ways and grab ourselves a nice little sphere of influence with Minmus. Oh, there we go. Lovely. And we are captured in Minmus's sphere of influence. So that means the gravity. Oh, hello. The gravity of Minmus. Let's go nice and low here. If I recall correctly, like below 20 is good enough. Now that we're in the sphere of influence, that means that Minmus is the main gravitational body that we are attracted to, and all of our kind of orbital mechanics are relative to this body. So yeah. I know it was like, this is a very lumpy surface actually, so you do have to be careful not to go too low, or you will straight up smack into mountains, which I find amusing. I'm going around again just because I do want to use the last of this fuel, if at all possible, getting ourselves a nice gentle landing, and giving us some good selectivity for landing space that will be beneficial to us. Like, technically speaking, actually, landing on one of these salt baths here would be ideal. You know, I might just do that. I might just have us go straight down. That feels like it's actually not the worst idea I've ever had. It's not shock and fuel efficient. Stop! It's not shock and fuel efficient, but it is a very, very good way of making sure that when our craft does inevitably land, that we're landing somewhere nice and flat. Okay. Still have no idea why the feet are deploying that way. Okay, if we unshield them. Like, what was it? So wait, so deploying them shielded. Huh. Interesting. I don't understand what the shielding is, actually, but it's not too much of an issue, I don't think. I'm gonna pop my RCS on there, start slowing us however so incrementally I can. I'm gonna go ahead here and actually swap to the ground level here. And yeah. Cutting our velocity here isn't too much of an issue. It's actually our first landing on Minmus altogether, so that's going to complete a contract over here as well, which is lovely. Land on Minmus. Lovely. So that'll be the day's contract completed, but like with the multiple side goals of building a craft that can land and recover from Minmus, the moon, you know, pretty much everywhere. All right, yeah, we can cut a good 10 meters per second pretty reliably. So you know, I will pop on the lights. Oh, there we go, just to illuminate our landing zone just a bit better. Oh, may have overcompensated here. Just a touch. Okay, lovely. We are still set to float down gently, though, which is good. You know, I might as well just accelerate us towards the ground a little, because I am getting a touch impatient. And these lights are just straight up obscured by the gears. Good to know, good to know. Actually, no, there's a cone of light happening there. If we were landing on the dark side, this would actually be illuminating us quite well. So, let's have a look here. As long as we keep our impact speed, say below, yeah. Let's say 8. I feel like that's the right call. Okay. Everything else is going just fine. We almost have touch. You almost have it. we haven't. We've done it. We've landed on Minmus. We've done it. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, cool, and all the legs are like individually lit up because of the lights there. Lovely job. So we've landed on Minmus. And we've got guys landed on Minmus. Alright. You know what? I think Valentina should be the one to do the honors this time. It's quite the crawl though. Well, it's not really much of an issue given how low the gravity is here. But yeah, we're pretty much going to definitely be landing our mobile processing base here in this ocean, given the fact that, you know, in the lesser flats, yeah, because of the fact that not only is this really good scientific data, actually, you know what I could do? I can't just take this information right now. Okay, well, look. Let's go ahead and, oh, careful there. Let's go ahead and store this information, if we can. Because, yeah, it's not going to cost us any actual science, so I might as well... okay. I might as well, like, store it here. So, store experiments. Lovely. From space just above Minmus's lesser flats. Because that's not going to stop the fact that we're going to actually have, you know, recoverable information as well. And we can take a surface sample from here as well. And an EVA report from the ground. And a little bit more than that, we're also going to plant ourselves a flag. Right at the bottom of the ladder so we can knock off it and not get onto the craft again. Site name, SJG, Minmus, 0018-1. I'm still organized. Nice. Lovely, so a very, very effective mission. And we do have a good bit of Delta V left over. Oh, goodness, you are very floaty here. And pop your RCS back on here so we can, like, just float you back up here without much inconvenience to me. Goodness. Goodness gracious. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Goodness. Golly. Goodness. Gundrops. There we go. Okay, up a little bit then. Back into your pod. Climb this pod. Climb the pod. There we go. And we're going to have you board back in here. Okay, lovely job. That's a lot of science we're going to be recovering from this mission. We could have recovered some from the moon if I hadn't been a moron, but hey. Beggars can't be choosers. Now, without any further ado, we have to make the bold escape from Minmus. So, we're going to retract this ladder here. Bring our center of gravity back a nice bit. Hopefully this doesn't torch the actual, the flag as we take off. Okay, then we need to just bring this apoapsis out just as far as is required for us to break free from the sphere of influence that is Minmus. Okay, almost out. There we go. And when we're out, we can then spend the rest of our Delta V on maneuvers getting away. Lovely. You know what? If we're here, we might as well take a crew report. Probably should have taken a crew report whilst we were there. But hey, this mission was never about science anyway. It was just about saying, we can do this. Okay, so we're going to go all the way up to our periapsis. Actually, how circular is this orbit? 46, 60. Okay, not terribly, actually. There's a considerable reason for going all the way up here. A good reason as well. You know, it's technically possible to deploy the chutes. Not the worst idea I've ever had. Wow, even at this, like, almost... even at times 10,000 the time, you know... This is still quite the event. I mean, like, that's how it gets though. When you're going to try and get to other planets like Duna or to Eve, like, you gotta be ready for these long travel times, because that's just what space is really. That's the big barrier to traveling through space, is ease of. Whoa, hello. Oh, there it is. There's my my signature sneeze. Sneeze once per frickin' video, apparently. There's the moon and there's Kerbal. Wow. That's really cool, actually. 32 minutes away from this. Jeez. Like, that's so much. It's really cute, actually, getting to see, Temperature gauges, all enabled. Why not? Okay. Now let's bring down that apoapsis, or the periapsis, rather. And moon, you better not interfere. That moon. Pesky moon. Just loves interfering with everything, doesn't it? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to... Well, it appears we have signed our death warrant. That's fine. We will be fine. I'm like 35% sure about it. As long as we spend a considerable amount of effort ensuring that we are going to actually bring down our apoapsis as well. I have made a mistake. And it may only cost me my life. So, lucky me, I suppose. Just gonna have to burn these engines now and hope that the inclusion of a bit of RCS will expedite the fact that I really don't want to die. Oh my god, did you see that for a second? The way... That was really scary. I just saw like a Kerbal skull. I'm gonna rotate it as well, just to cut as much velocity as I can. Because we are coming in well hot, ladies and gents. I have made a mistake, and I don't know if the Kerbals are going to survive this. Like, that is a lot more than any of them were really expecting to be able to come in and do. Yep, the solar panels are gone. That's kind of to be expected, but the legs are still out. The engine's still up. We're still stable. I'm cutting the gimbal there, just so all of our fuel goes towards, you know, cutting our ridiculous velocity. Not much more of that left, though. And I'm spending a lot of monopropellant as well. We're doing our best to stay stable, but who knows? Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay, now we are fighting the other way, trying to like stop our craft from lighting up too much. Oh, come on. I know it's expensive in terms of electric charge, but you need to bring down this speed. You can do it. Oh, I know you can. I know you can. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. We just need those drogues out. Just need those drogues out. We're good. We're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. We just need to deploy the drogues. Drogues. There we go. Okay. Successful. Success, success, success. Oh boy. Sometimes those re-entries, they really do get you. I'm gonna turn off the RCS there because it's making annoying noises again. But, okay, that's good. Everything's gonna deploy safely, including the main parachute. There we go. And we're gonna come in at around 30 meters per second, but nothing we can't deal with otherwise. Once we drop a bit lower, I might just pop on the RCS to see if it makes any difference at all. Yeah, I mean, it's not nothing. It's not really slowing us down anymore, but it's acting like an additional teeny tiny terrible parachute. So you know what? Good for it. And look, the engine and that tank may go every time we land in water. But we've come away. We've come away from it just fine. RCS, we're going to disable you, and we're going to recover the vessel. Oh, that's satisfying. Oh, that's a lot of science. Just from samples taken from Minmus. Alright. Let's spend this science. Let's do it. Let's get some fun stuff. Field science. Ooh, a Rove mate pack. Heavy landing. Scanning technology. That probably wouldn't be the worst. Electronics. So a magnetometer. Interesting. Oh. Accelerator, better relay antennas. I'll never say no to better relay antennas. Unmanned drones, so that's the Hex 2 is like the best drone core. I think anyway. Oh, hello, what is this? Moho transfer module. Moho planetary observer. Combines the functions of many parts in one to help make the searing heat of its primary mission target. Whoa. What is this stuff? the MOHO probe and the Mo MTM stage. Now that's fascinating. I've never seen that before. They've added so much new stuff. Experimental science, just a holding tank and a narrowband scanner. Not that experimental, if you ask me. The GravMax negative gravioli detector is definitely much more experimental. But look, that's me being judgmental. Metamaterials. Okay, so nice little additional attachments there, but nothing too desperately relevant, if I'm being a little bit cruel about it. Nuclear propulsion. Those are good engines. Those are good engines. They're not shocking strong. Vector liquid fuel engines. Awesome. Precision propulsion. Again, not something I use very much, but that is just me. Okay, I think the right call to make is to leave the science and have a look at what our next mission will be for the next episode. Explore the moon, you say? Rendezvous 2 vessels in orbit of the moon. You know what, actually? That's a wonderful idea. That is a wonderful idea. Because in taking on this contract, right, I have a plan. Ladies and gentlemen, the plan for the next episode is to go ahead out to the moon. Wait a minute, I don't have a station orbiting the moon. Well, looks like the next... Wait, it did say... the contract is for the moon, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, so... next episode, I'm going to go up and put a station in orbit of the moon. A mobile processing lab there. And, here's the kicker. I'm going to make sure that it can be equipped with craft that will be able to dock with the station, refuel, and then go and land on the surface before rendezvousing and delivering valuable scientific information. How do you like them apples? I like them apples very much. Okay. But yeah, you know what? There's some debris here I'm going to terminate after. And, oh, we've got our flags. Grassland Sample 1. Right, I completely forgot about you. And sites. That is the Kerbal Space Center. Okie dokie. We've got our two satellites up there at the moment. That's grand. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'm going to call the episode here. You know what to look forward to get back. And hey, I really appreciate you sticking with me through a fairly long episode. I know there was a lot going on. And yeah, definitely the first part of it wasn't the most exciting part. It was stuff we'd largely done before. But it all ultimately built together to come off as some pretty neat stuff there at the end. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and goodbye. Reconstruct teleport. Oh, yes, that is easily one of the best upgrades for a teleportation heavy build. Add a crew teleporter on the same station? Oh, guys, this is a blessed run right here. This looks like it's gonna be it. They resisted! Oh, thank God! Just go. Jump. Next sector. That was too fucking dangerous.